Yasodhanandanam Raja Janardan Yasodhanandanam Raja Janardan Yamunatira vanachari Munatira vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Yasodhanandana Raja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Raja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamunatira vanachari Yamunatira Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe Jaya Lalita Visakha Lalita Visakha Lalita Visakha Jaya Lalita Visakha Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram Kṛṣṇa Balaram Kṛṣṇa Balaram Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Shitanath Premanande. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Kadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakambitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavanispari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, we'd like to welcome everyone, especially some friends here from the Philippines. Some of them, it is their first time. Mabuhay. Mabuhay means all victory for everyone. So, this morning we'll continue reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, the Sammanbanam, chapter 70, Lord Kṛṣṇa's daily activities. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from text 2 to 5. This is the narration about Lord Kṛṣṇa's daily activities in Dwarka. So we are in Dwarka Lila, where Lord Kṛṣṇa's pastimes of having 16,108 consorts or wives. The verse on the board is text 2. There is no purport. Text 4 and 5. There is no. There is a purport. So text 3, there is no purport, but very short. So I'll just recite text 2 and 3, and all of us will recite text 4 and 5 together. Vayāṁsy aroruvan kṛṣṇaṁ bodhayantīva vandinaḥ gāyatsu aliṣu anidrāṇi mandāra-vana-vāyubhiḥ. The bees buzzing caused by the fragrant breeze from the pārijāta garden roused the birds from sleep. And when the birds began to sing loudly, they woke Lord Kṛṣṇa like court poets reciting his glories. Text 3. Muhūrtaṁ sa vaidarbhī nam svyad ati-śobhanam parirambhana visleshat priya bahu antaram gata. Lying in her beloved's arms, Queen Vaidarbhī did not like this most auspicious hour, for it meant she would lose his embrace. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that the reaction of Queen Vaidarbhī, Rukmini Devi, shows the attitude of all the queens. Text 4 and 5. Brahme muhurta utaya vari upasprisya madhava dadyau prasana karana atmanam tamasa param Dadhyo prasana karana atmanam tamasa param ekang swayam jyotir ananyang avyayam ekang swayam jyotir ananyang avyayam Swasamstaya nitya nirasta kalmasam Brahmakyam aso yadbhava nasahetubhi Brahmakyam asyo yadbhava nasahetubhi Swasakti lakshita bhava nirvritim Swasakti lakshita bhava nirvritim. Okay, we go straight to the word for word. Brahme muhurte. During the most suitable period of the day for spiritual activity before sunrise. Utaya, rising. Vari, water. Upasprisya, touching. Madhava, Lord Kṛṣṇa. Dadhyau, meditated. Prasana, clear. Karana, his mind. Atmanam, upon himself. Tamasa, ignorance. Param, beyond. Ekam, exclusive. Swayam, Swayam Jyoti, self-luminous. ananyam, without another, avyayam, infallible, swasamstaya, by his own nature, nitya, perpetually, nirashta, dispelling, kalmashang, contamination, brahma-akyam, known as Brahman, the absolute truth, asya, of this universe, udbhava, of creation, nasa, and destruction, hetubi, by the causes, swa, his own, shaktivi, energies, lakshita, manifest, bhava, existence, nibritim, joy. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Madhava would rise during the Brahma Muhūrtaṁ period and touch water. With a clear mind, he would then meditate upon himself, the single, self-luminous, unequaled, and infallible Supreme Personality, or Supreme Truth, known as Brahman, who by his very nature ever dispels all contamination, and who through his personal energies, which cause the creation and destruction of this universe, manifests his own pure and blissful existence. Purport. Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur points out that the word bhava in this verse indicates the created beings. Thus, the compound word lakshita bhava nibritim means that Lord Kṛṣṇa gives pleasure to the created beings through his various energies. Of course, the soul is never created, but our material conditioned existence is created by the interactions of the Lord's energies. One who is favored by the Lord's internal potency can understand the nature of the absolute truth. This understanding is called Kṛṣṇa consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Kṛṣṇa explains that his energies are divided into inferior and superior, or material and spiritual potencies. The Brahma Samhita further explains that the material potency acts like a shadow, following the movements of the spiritual reality, which is the Lord himself and his spiritual potency. When one is favored by Lord Kṛṣṇa, he reveals himself to the surrendered soul. And thus, the same creation that firmly covered the soul becomes an impetus for spiritual enlightenment. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahme muhurta utaya vari upasprishya madhava dadhyo prasana karana atmanam tamasa param ekang swayang jyotir ananyang abhyayang swasamstaya nitya nirasta kalmasam brahmakyang asyudbhava nasahetubhi swasakti lakshita bhava nibritim. Lord Madhava. You know what's the meaning of Madhava? Who knows? Yes? Yes. The husband of Lakshmi's Sahasra. unlimited Lakshmi Devis, practically unlimited. They are the expansions of Srimati Radharani. So Madhava is none different than Lord Kṛṣṇa. So these queens in Dwarka, they're also expansions of Srimati Radharani, but in a different mood. In Vrindavan, the mood is that of madhurya, or sweetness, not acknowledging, and they don't care in Vrindavan whether Krishna is God or not. But in Dwarka, the mood is more of awe and veneration. Aishwarya. And in Mathura, it's mixed. Aishwarya and madhurya. So the queens of Dwarka, namely the foremost is Rukmini Devi, or here mentions Vaidarbhī. Right? Remember? Vaidarbhī. And we are given the description here how Lord Kṛṣṇa will act like just an ordinary human being, that at the time of Brahma Muhurta, how many hours before sunrise is Brahma Muhurta? Huh? 3, according to the Krishna book. See, Prabhupada has given us the Krishna book before having the 10th canto. He thought that he will not be able to finish the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. His main work, the magnum opus, being instructed by his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, to print books. Whenever you get money, print books. And preach Krishna consciousness to the English-speaking world. So as early as 1972, a Krishna book was written. But before that, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Because he thought that at least let me give the main subject matter, the glorification of Lord Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, starting from Balya, Pauganda, and Kishore, or childhood, youthhood, boyhood and youthhood. So, this Krishna book is meant for everyone, the general class of people. But the Srimad Bhagavatam, the subject matter in the Krishna book is the summary of the 10th canto. But then again, it says that the Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for the Paramahamsa. Prabhupada is a genius. It's amazingly how he gave us the Krishna book, even though we're not on that level, even understanding what is the Bhagavad Gita. In a storytelling way, we can relish the part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the most confidential part of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto. And so here in the 10th canto, we are in chapter 70. So we still have 20 more, isn't it? 90? Am I correct? Yes. What is the title of the 90th? Summary of Lord Kṛṣṇa's glories. So we're getting close. You know how long will it take for us when we reach, well, I remember in Toronto, it took us 11 years to reach the 10th canto, chapter 13, where the Brahma Vimohan Lila pastimes. After that, we return to chapter 1 of the first canto. But here in Vrindavan, we're relishing all of this up to 12th canto. You know how long will it take again if we finish the whole 12th canto? at least 15 years to go back. To go back to 10th canto, it'll take us 11 years, but then to finish the whole thing, who knows? So, the daily pastimes, activities of Lord Kṛṣṇa in Dwarka is so amazing that he will also act just like an ordinary human being, at least a civilized human being. That he would wake up at the Brahma Muhurta hour when the roosters or the cocks will crow. In the Philippines, we hear this. In Vrindavan, you don't hear the roosters crowing. You know what time is that? No. 2:30 in the morning, around 2 o'clock. The first rooster will begin crowing. And then after that, they'll be like answering back and forth. I remember that. I know that because we have roosters at home. My brother is fond of taking care of roosters. Sabongero. So, yes, around 2:30, Prabhupada says also. 3 hours before, he mentions this in the Krishna book. Now, for as far as we know, it's about an hour and a half is Brahma Muhurta. That means the most auspicious time for Lord Brahma. Brahma Muhurta, before sunrise. And therefore, in Vrindavan, I think the sun rises right now around 6:30. What time? 7? So don't wake up at 6 o'clock then, or 5. You still have to get up. Our brahmacharis, some of them, they get up by 3 o'clock, following in the footsteps of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So we cannot imitate Lord Kṛṣṇa, because he is the Supreme Lord. As jivas, we can follow in his footsteps. And so it mentions here, specifically, that he will rise up during the Brahma Muhurta period, and he would touch water. What does it mean, touch water? He will do achaman. He'll do achaman. Because it's purifying to do achaman. Everything that we do before we touch, or even entering the altar, or do artik, or do puja, we do achaman to purify ourselves. And then, with clear mind, he would then meditate upon himself. The single, self-luminous, unequaled, the whole is one sentence. How can he meditate upon himself? But I read in the previous chapter that he would meditate also on Paramatma. Chapter 69. So for him, there is no difference between within himself and his body. So he can meditate upon himself. But for us, we cannot meditate on the soul. Because we don't know, we don't have a clue what is the soul. Yes, that's why we have to read the Bhagavad Gita to understand, especially from the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Description of the soul. And we cannot meditate on our body because it's full of ignorance. It's contaminated by the modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. So the more we will meditate upon ourselves, then the more we will be going to be degraded or contaminated. For Lord Kṛṣṇa, he can meditate upon himself because there's no difference between his body and within. Some scrupulous scholars, so-called scholars of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada would say also that there is a commentator of the Bhagavad Gita saying that one should worship the person within Kṛṣṇa, not Kṛṣṇa himself. But he doesn't know. There is no difference between Lord Kṛṣṇa externally and internally. That's why he is absolute. He doesn't change. Prabhupada says this is the difference between the jivas and the Supreme Lord. That's why we are forgetful, because our bodies keep on changing. Every moment and every 12 years, all the cells of the body completely change. When we took birth, at the age of 12, all the cells changes. And then 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, and so on. But the Lord, no, He doesn't change. Always remain the same. Always fresh. So now, it says here also that he was embracing. Yes, it says here. She would lose his embrace. So who's embracing? Kṛṣṇa or Rukmini? Who? Rukmini? Kṛṣṇa. It says here, she would lose his embrace. So who is embracing? Kṛṣṇa or Rukmini? Come on. In the Krishna book is the opposite. In the Krishna book it says Rukmini is the one who is embracing Kṛṣṇa. So how is that? Well, we cannot speculate, but at least we can say that maybe both of them are embracing each other. I can read it to you. What Prabhupada says. Oops. Hare Krishna. Lord Kṛṣṇa used to lie down with his 16,000 wives, but he would also rise from bed very early in the morning, 3 hours before sunrise. So this is the Brahma Muhurta, 3 hours. By nature's arrangement, the crowing of the cocks warns of the Brahma Muhurta hour. There is no need of alarm clocks. As soon as the cocks crow, early in the morning, it is to be understood that it is time to rise from bed. Some devotees also, they don't use alarm clock. Or if they have alarm clock, they will rise up before the alarm clock goes off. Because internally we have this body clock. We become used to that. Even while traveling, I notice I wake up the same time. Everywhere. Anywhere I go, it's the same time I wake up. Hearing the sound, Kṛṣṇa would get up from bed, but his rising early was not very much to the liking of his wives. The wives of Kṛṣṇa were so much attached to him that they would lie in bed embracing him. So who's embracing? Kṛṣṇa or the queens? The queens. So how is this different? Only the acharyas would know. Prabhupada translated the Krishna book in that way. So they would curse the crowings of the birds. It says birds. Those birds are the roosters. They will be woken up by also the humming of the bees. Mentions here. The humming of the bees. Because the bees, they will smell the very aromatic fragrance from the pārijāta flower. The pārijāta flower was brought by Lord Kṛṣṇa from the heavenly planets. At first, he gave one flower to one of his queens, and then one says, I want another, I want the same. So instead of taking one flower from the garden of Indra, he took the whole tree. And so all of these pārijāta flower trees are planted all over Dwarka. How many palaces are there in Dwarka? 900,000, yes. But the 16,108 palaces specifically for his queens. So it's amazing also that in Dwarka, all the queens, they thought that Krishna is only alone with them. But Krishna, he expanded himself, the same body, 16,108 Krishnas, same potencies, same Krishna. And previously in the 69th chapter, Narad Muni, when he visited the different palaces to find out how Krishna is doing, so the first palace that he visited was the palace of Krishna with Rukmini Devi. And Rukmini Devi, even though she has thousands of assistants, maidservants, she was fanning Lord Kṛṣṇa. And then as soon as Lord Kṛṣṇa knew that Narad was there, then he stood up and greeted Narad Muni. So Krishna was playing the role of a Kshatriya, and Narad Muni is a Brahmana. So he received him. He did Abhishek, foot bathing, and he sprinkled unto his head. So this is the way how Lord Kṛṣṇa will show that we have to follow the proper etiquette, proper culture. Somehow or other, when Narad Muni would go to a different palace, the time is not linear. One palace he will go evening, one palace he will go morning time, one palace he will go afternoon. Unlike our time, it's linear, right? So now it's almost 8:45 or 8:45, so the next minute will be 8:46. We don't go to Goshala and it is evening over there. But Narad Muni was thinking also, because there is an assembly hall, again, that was taken from the heavenly planets, or brought there. How Lord Kṛṣṇa will do it, because there's only one chariot, Daruka being the chariot driver. How Daruka will receive these 16,108 Krishnas? So Narad Muni was watching somewhere where he sees all the 16,108 Krishnas coming out of the different palaces, all at the same time. He was watching, how is it going to be? There's only one chariot and 16,108 Krishnas. So all of these 16,108 Krishnas, they all merge to become one Krishna. And then after the assembly hall, doing his business, his duty as a king, then Lord Kṛṣṇa also would get off from the chariot, and then again 16,108 Krishnas will be separated and go to its in every palace. Only Narad Muni can see this. Another example, can you tell us? Yeah, during the Rasa dance. Well, there's only one Krishna there actually. Brahma Mibon Lila, yes. How about King Prataparudra? In the Ratha Yatra, only King Prataparudra can see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in each and every chariot, in front of the chariot. Huh? Yeah. No one else, only King Prataparudra can see. So, the potency of the Supreme Lord has been shared also by his pure devotee. That's why when we offered foodstuff to the Supreme Lord, Angani Yasha Sakalendriya Brittimanti, his limbs are interchangeable. So he can eat through his eyes. That's why the bhoga that we offered after Krishna ate, it's still there. So that potency of the Lord is there. And somehow, his pure devotees also shared the same potency. It's like we offer foodstuff to our Guru Maharaj every day in his samadhi. So how does he eat? How does he eat? Because he's present there. Physically he's present. Especially in Prabhupada Samadhi. Samadhi means the Supreme Lord's pure devotees, the acharyas, are eternally present. So we offer bhoga also to Prabhupada. Then he becomes pasad. How does he eat? Does he eat through his mouth? No. Again, when it comes to transcendental platform, the devotees have the same qualities, but not to the unlimited degree. Chinmaya ras. So when we offer to our Guru Maharaj, even through his picture, your Guru Maharaj is still present, how do you consider it as pasad? Because also, somehow, he'll be able to eat through his different senses. Transcendental. But it says here also, we've read that the soul is never created. Did you remember hearing that? But we've heard that we were created. We all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. But coming in contact with the material nature, that's how we cannot trace. But even the creation of the jivas, it cannot be traced. There must be a beginning, but we cannot pertain. We cannot ascertain when we were created. That's why we're also called eternal. Even though we have a beginning, we are still considered to be eternal. So, the queens of Lord Kṛṣṇa in Dwarka, they all begot 10 sons each. 10 sons. And each of those 10 sons, they also begot 10 sons each. Now, Lord Kṛṣṇa also have daughters. It is not mentioned how many. But based from what we can calculate now, 16,108 times 10, and then another 10, how many? Over 1 million. Over 1,600,000 family members. And Kṛṣṇa can maintain all of them. And Kṛṣṇa can maintain unlimited jivas. Kṛṣṇa can maintain both the spiritual world and the material world. For him, he doesn't have to do it directly. He will do it with his different expansions also having the same potency. From the second Sankarshan, the Purusha avatars manifest. Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Karnodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. And then the different incarnations of the Supreme Lord coming from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu in different universes. And the conditioned souls are even finding it difficult to maintain 1 or 2 children, to maintain them. And it says here that Lord Kṛṣṇa is with his queens. I know some devotees, grihastas, they sleep separately. They're not old yet. They sleep separately. I'm trying to figure this out. Only I can conclude because Maya is very heavy. It's very difficult to control the senses. There'll be a tendency that if the husband is not very strong, then some illicit activities could happen even within marriage. Ideally, both should be strong, the husband and the wife. At least one of them should be strong. If the husband is weak spiritually, at least the wife should be stronger. If both of them are weak spiritually, Hare Krishna, there'll be more repeated cycle of birth and death, and more likely the offsprings will be unwanted. Varna Sankar. Right? You've heard of that? The Bhagavad Gita? Varna Sankar means unwanted population. And practically speaking, 99.9999999% of the population is Varna Sankar, unwanted. They don't know what to do or what to do. That's why Grihastha ashram is very responsible ashram. Shastra says if one is not sure that he'll be able to liberate his subjects, then one should not be a king, one should not be a guru, one should not be a teacher, one should not be a spiritual master. Otherwise, it'll be chaos. We're very fortunate to have these children, Krishna conscious children who were born, who took birth here in Vrindavan. Right from the very beginning, they're exposed to Krishna consciousness. So one must be very careful. If one cannot control his senses, that means including the mind especially, then the grihastas must be very, very careful. Lord Kṛṣṇa can do it, but we cannot imitate him. We can follow in his footsteps, at least rising up during the Brahma Muhurta hour to purify our consciousness. Because anyone who does not perform sadhana strictly, he is prone to be captured by Maya. Guaranteed. 101%. I'm sure you have that experience. If you miss Mangal Artik, you don't feel the same. You feel kind of like, hey, why is this happening to me? I'm easily irritated. I'm becoming angry for nothing. But when we see the Lord, the beautiful form of the Lord, chanting in front of the Lord, chanting our rounds before breakfast, or at least before 10 o'clock in the morning, our whole day will be filled up with Krishna consciousness. It will be so blissful that seemingly nothing can bother us, including the attraction of Maya. So that's why Prabhupada greatly emphasized the sadhana. Lord Kṛṣṇa, to show an example we should follow. For him, he does not have to get up early in the morning. Why is it also that Lord Kṛṣṇa took initiation from a bona fide spiritual master? The same with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are God. How is it that they play the role of being a disciple? How is it that they played the role, the contradictory? Lord Brahma, only one wife, ekapatni. Lord Chaitanya, 2 wives. Lord Kṛṣṇa, 16,108 wives. But all of them, they play the role of an ideal husband. It doesn't matter how many wives they had. So don't imitate Kṛṣṇa, but follow in their footsteps. So we will learn more about these different activities of Lord Kṛṣṇa here, his daily activities, because later on he will go to his duty to the assembly hall where he would entertain the visitors. Usually in those days, no one gets hungry, no one gets thirsty, no one is jobless. And even in King Prithu's time, he says that even if one does not want to die, he will not die. The ideal monarch. For Lord Kṛṣṇa, remember that story where he has to go to see Lord Vishnu? Because the Brahmana's sons, one by one, died. He and Arjuna had to go to solve this problem. So sometimes Lord Kṛṣṇa also, like Lord Ramachandra, he would go incognito. He will be in camouflage to see how, and here, how is the king faring? Nice, very nice. Put it in the airplane mode. We're going to Goloka. Okay, it's a very interesting subject matter. We did not discuss more about the nature of Lord Kṛṣṇa's explaining here, but there is a great detail, this different description of the Supreme Lord, self-luminous, unequaled, infallible, supreme truth, Brahman. His very nature ever dispels all contamination. His personal energies. He'll take another session here. But we just touch a little bit. I will stop here now. If there is any question or comment. No. You have the microphone. Pass back the mic. Pass.
Hare Krishna, Maharaji. Maharaji, you told regarding senses and mind that means forget about the mind, I would say.
Why? Forget the mind?
No. For myself, I am saying. Not. Even the senses are means uncontrollable. So
why is the senses uncontrolled?
It's beyond because I am seeing no one in this planet who has gone beyond senses. Jitendriya.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Is there anyone?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu. So Krishna himself says that Mame viye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So prapadyante. So how to get prapanna? How to surrender? Means I am not getting this answer. How to surrender?
Okay.
Means immediately if I do want to surrender.
Do you want to know, or you just want to explain who you are?
No. Never. I want to know. I want to know.
Okay. When we say one is in the bodily platform, That means he's in the mental platform. How is it that the senses are uncontrolled? Because the mind is uncontrolled. How you control the mind? Sharpen your intelligence. Read Prabhupada's books. It says, armed with the sword of knowledge, cut this attachment, the material things. So, higher than the intelligence is the soul. So we have to understand, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. I'm meant to serve Krishna, that is my eternal constitutional position. Associate with those who are free from the attachments to this material world. You can find them, but it will be very difficult. If you are sincere, you'll find them. But they don't go every day. You don't see them every day.
You said 99.99999%.
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct.
The
That's
pure
correct.
pure devotee of the Lord is very rare.
Yeah.
For us, we go up and down. Sometimes we're up like a roller coaster or like a Ferris wheel. We go up and down, no steadiness. That's why we have to do what Prabhupada has told us to do. Chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, read Srila Prabhupada's books, attend Mangalarti, whether you're brahmachari or grihastha. I know when I travel, there's some grihasthas, they get up also at 4 o'clock. They do Mangalarti, everything. They dress their deities. Exactly the same. Very strict. You cannot be loose if you want to go back home, back to Godhead. You cannot say, oh, today I'll have a day off. Do we have a day off? Huh? We don't have a day off, right? Our holidays is going to the Holy Dham. Not to Mexico, Acapulco, or Paris, France to see the Eiffel Tower. Our vacation is to come to the Holy Dham to become purified. So fortunate are those who live here but don't take it for granted. Don't become familiar with the Holy Dham. You have to pay the price. The price is austerity. And this is the wealth of the Brahmanas. Okay? So get out of your contaminated state. Don't say that I cannot control my senses. We can. It's possible. We have to pay the price. The price is our greed to be Krishna conscious. Lobha. If you're greedy like the materialist, to accumulate more and more money, sweeter than honey, you can be like that. But if you want to be Krishna conscious, we have to pay the price. And once you are ready to do it, everything becomes easy. Maya will give up on you. She will leave you alone. But that's very rare. We have to be really convinced, we have to be determined, we have to be focused, we have to be sincere. That's the meaning of sincerity. When we say, oh, that devotee is very sincere, that means that devotee is very focused. Focus on his duty. Even a sweeper, we can say that person is very sincere because he's focused in cleaning. So we should be focused on our trying to advance in Krishna consciousness. Okay? Any other points or comment? Yes, Prabhu? Pass the mic.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandut Pranams to you for a very nice class.
Hari Bol.
Maharaj, we are trying to see how we can be very fixed devotion and devotees and all. But even in Vrindavan,
What's that again?
In Vrindavan itself,
Yeah.
and Braj area, we are seeing so much cow slaughter happening, butchered, and people who try to protect cows are beaten by the police to the jails. But at the same time, cows are an integral part of our dharma. And we are not able to do, even when you're thinking that we are good devotees, we should be protecting the environment, cows, to make it more devotional. But at the same time, there are people who are trying to do this and they don't get any support. To the extent the administration, the government goes against them. So how do we reconcile being good devotees, unable to do this kind of activities, and those are doing these activities, not getting the support? It's a problem for devotees to reconcile this kind of a complete...
Not just, I understand your point. It is not just the cow slaughters, it's the whole environment. This is Kali Yuga. Remember when Parikshit Maharaj, he saw Kali personified eating the cow in the form of a bull, Dharma. Only one leg is standing. That is truthfulness. It's very difficult to find even truthfulness nowadays. So this is a sign of Kali Yuga. But don't think that if you cannot do anything about it, then we are not concerned about it. You cannot. At least if we can reach to the higher authorities, like in some states in India, cow slaughter is prohibited. Yes? Am I correct?
Well, more in the law, but not in practicality.
Sir, first save yourself, then save others. Work on ourselves first. That is most difficult to do. Prabhupada says, if all the devotees of our movement will become so serious, within 18 days, we can conquer the whole world. "18 days is like victory of the Pandavas happened in 18 days from the Mahabharata. So some of us are not so serious. So how can we become effective? It is the duty of all the members, each and every one of us, to be serious. Then we can make a change, a big change. So we can try, we can do as much as possible, try to promote prasadam, consciousness, and the rest is up to Krishna. You cannot, it's out of your control, it's out of control what's going on out there. What to do? That means what? We are useless or what? We cannot do anything, so okay, well, that's it. We go to hell also? The whole world is going to hell. No. It's beyond your reach. You cannot even save your own children. You try to bring them up to be Krishna conscious, but when they reach a certain age, it's beyond you also. They choose a different path. So are you a useless parent? No, you try your best. That is their karma now. This is what I've seen from my travels. Children, they're good. Rarely I've seen a child grown up still very Krishna conscious. But most of them, Hare Krishna. What to do? So are you, you're a bad parent or what? No, you're not. You try your best. You do your duty. So we try to do our duty. And it's beyond, if it's beyond us, it's up to Krishna. They'll suffer. We don't want them to suffer. That's why we're distributing Bhagavad Gita. We try to emphasize book distribution, which is dear most to Srila Prabhupada. Of all the preaching programs that we do, if you don't distribute books, it is only lip service. You think marathon is only for 1 month? We have an eternal marathon. As long as we are breathing. Because this is the only thing that can save them, especially the Bhagavatam. They cannot even reach the Bhagavatam. At least they read Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of the Vedas. We don't have enough one lifetime to read the Vedas. At least try to understand Bhagavad Gita. The 45-minute conversation between Lord Kṛṣṇa and Arjuna. For others, it will take lifetimes to understand Bhagavad Gita. So we give them an opportunity that we can try. My dear sir, please take Bhagavad Gita. And we've read this morning, if you read one line of Srila Prabhupada's book, your life can be transformed. Remember this morning? Who were there for Mangalarti? Raise your hands. Okay, no, don't raise your hands. Yeah, remember that? If they read one line, Prabhupada says, even if they read one word from my books, life can be changed. So we're trying our best. This is only what we can do. Okay? Srila Prabhupada K. All the queens and Madhava Ki Jai. Jai Gorshitana Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Hari Om Tat Sat.